Firstly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings from the Pacific and Fiji, and we thank you very much for the welcome we have received from the UAE government at this ministerial conference, the 13th ministerial conference. This ministerial conference for the Pacific is very important, and for Fiji also. It can mean the survival or the decline of our fisheries sector. And fisheries resources in the Pacific becomes very important because it's perhaps one of the few commodities where economy depends on, or the livelihoods of the people depend on. Small scale fisheries, medium size, also larger sort of industries as well. As you know, as part of MC13, or the 13th Ministerial Conference, the fisheries subsidies agreement is an important sort of outcome that everyone is seeking. Pacific has a position here as well, and a strong interest, because 50% of the world's tuna comes from the Pacific. It's one of the few tuna stocks that is healthy because it's well managed, and this ministerial conference will determine certain rules as to how the tuna stock can maintain its healthy stocks. And it will basically decide how to limit or control overcapacity and overfishing. So it's very important that whatever outcomes we get out of MC13, fish is part of those outcomes, and in those outcomes there is some control or discipline on overcapacity and overfishing, and that will then ensure that our fishing industry, our tuna stocks, our peoples that depend on it will be able to survive and thrive. I must thank the DG and also the chair of fisheries rules, which is Iceland, for their great efforts until this point to try to bring some balance in the current text of the fisheries subsidies agreement. There has been sort of an effort made to take everyone's position, but we feel that the Pacific's voices is not being heard. And our positions are not taken seriously. So at this ministerial conference, all our ministers are here from all the Pacific states, and 2 deputy prime ministers are here to show how important this issue is. And we are willing to take a very strong stance on fisheries subsidies, that there needs to be discipline on the money that is being spent to send fishing fleets to other waters to fish. If it continues in the current fashion, then our healthy tuna stocks will be depleted. So it's a real practical economic matter at stake. What we are suggesting is that we take stock and we put a limit based on the current levels. We are not asking that you reduce subsidies or you stop subsidies. You just maintain it at the certain standstill, as they say. That's what we are asking. And we are also asking that subsidies that are harmful, that lead to overcapacity, overfishing, you don't introduce anymore. You just keep it at current level. That's the first part of the proposal. Second part of the proposal is, after a number of years, whether it's 5 years, whether it's 7 years, after 10 years, there needs to be a review, and there needs to be a determination that those subsidies that are really harmful, we need to reduce it. Try to reduce those subsidies that are really harmful. So that's basically the part of the Pacific's proposal, and we hope that the distant water fishing nations, the bigger countries, even the chair of the conference, UAE, we hope that they understand the Pacific. We really want a deal, but we cannot sort of ignore the request we have made to this conference. The chair has been very supportive. One of the first meetings we've had is with the WTO chair, and he has said that he will support us in taking our voice to other countries, the other key stakeholders, players, and he will facilitate that. And we've been having active engagement with all the parties here, all the members of the WTO. The Pacific has been engaging the like-minded countries, countries like Bangladesh, Brazil. The ACP is supportive of our, the African, Caribbean and the Pacific group are supportive of our position. A lot of countries like Australia and New Zealand are sympathetic to our position, but we want them to move from sympathy to support. So I think we are trying to garner momentum, and the momentum is gaining, but we have to do a lot more work to ensure that between today and tomorrow we are able to get a meeting of the minds by everyone on our position. What we have presented, we think, is not unreasonable. We've presented a solution that is a bare minimum to us, and we hope that that is being realized. One thing we have noticed is that whilst the chair has the chair of the fish has presented a text that in his view is balanced, a lot of countries were not satisfied with the discipline. So we are offering something. It may nothing is perfect, and we are not offering a perfect solution, but we are saying that, listen, you have to look at the our Pacific interest. You have to look at the fact that more than $20 billion is pumped into fisheries subsidies annually, and sir, that is higher than our GDP. No, that's not even our GDP. We are so small. Most of the countries have lesser GDPs than that, and imagine that amount of money coming and going to vessels that are fishing in these in our waters. It will surely have an impact. It will have a detrimental impact. We understand that there are already provisions in the current text about sustainability and notifications and transparency, etc. We feel that that is not enough. Yes, our ministers are currently meeting as we speak. My Deputy Prime Minister from Fiji is here, and Minister for Trade. He is meeting with Honorable Piyush Goyal, the Commerce Minister for India. We've had a meeting with Australia and New Zealand. We had a meeting with the ACP group. We've had in the fisheries meetings been part of all the groups. We were divided into 3 groups, A, B and C, and in those groups we articulated our position. We have today to meet as many of the countries as possible to ensure that they understand. And if there's any way, any chance we can narrow our differences, divergences, we will take that up, because we want to achieve a result on fish. We were instrumental at the last ministerial conference in Geneva, MC12. Fiji and the Pacific with the ACP were instrumental in getting that agreement done. The fisheries subsidies agreement, the first one. We hope that similarly this time there will be a fisheries subsidies agreement part 2. We are hoping for the best, but we are prepared for the worst. Standout moment is the hospitality I have received, the best dates that I have eaten, and the best coffee that I have drunk. And that's managed to keep me going for meetings after meetings.